Well, it's been nearly 1 week since the escalation in Gaza and Israel began, as Israel's military action against Gaza continues to intensify. As we have seen this evening, some observers have raised concerns over the views world leaders have expressed on civilian safety. Osama bin Javaid reports.
World leaders have given different views on upholding international law to protect civilians and civilian infrastructure, depending on the circumstances. This is the German Chancellor.
Russian soldiers committed a massacre of Ukrainian civilians, including children, women and old people. The murder of civilians is a war crime. To be clear, the perpetrators and those who gave the command must be held accountable. Our own history, our responsibility that grew from the Holocaust, makes it our eternal duty to stand up for Israel's existence and security. This responsibility guides us. Our attachment to Israel today is also very direct.
On Tuesday, European leaders stood for Israel, while these images of Israeli strikes on Gaza were being broadcast live. But last year, the European Commission President laid out the law about targeting civilian infrastructure.
The international order is very clear. These are war crimes. Targeted attacks on civilian infrastructure with the clear aim to cut off men, women, children of water, electricity and heating with the winter coming. These are acts of pure terror, and we have to call it as such.
That's not something Israel's prepared to hear. Its energy minister said no electrical switch will be turned on, no water hydrant will be opened, and no fuel truck will enter Gaza until the Israeli abductees are returned. No one will preach morals to us. And while the US president has urged Israel to respect the rules of war, his Secretary of State said this.
I'm here quite simply with one message, and that is the United States stands with Israel today, tomorrow, every day.
A message his Republican rivals agree on.
We're in a religious war here. I am with Israel. Do whatever the hell you have to do to defend yourself. Level the place.
And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them.
Palestinians say the world has double standards when it comes to upholding international law, which protects civilians. Osama bin Javaid, Al Jazeera.
Okay, well, Sultan Barakat joins us once again. And I just, first of all, wanted to get your reaction to some of the world leaders there speaking out about what is happening in Gaza. What stood out for you there?
The genocidal language, to be honest. I mean, get them, finish them, all that stuff. It's strange, but it is understandable when you place it within the context of their own history, their relationship with the Jewish people, what they've been through, the Holocaust, etc. You can understand that they're under pressure. It's a very soft spot as far as they're concerned. They have to become more Israelis than the Israelis when the issue of Holocaust is provoked. But that is not the Palestinians' problem. I mean, the state was created after the Holocaust. Israel was imposed on the Palestinians. And it is very important for those leaders to remember that the Palestinians in Gaza in particular, almost 75% of them are refugees from towns and villages that the Israelis have first occupied in 48 and then in 67. So they are already under international protection and have been for 75 years in that place, fed and sheltered by the United Nations, paid for by those same states to try and keep the Palestinians under the lid. Now, they have layers and layers of international protection, first as a refugee, as a civilian, children, women, etc. So the laws are endless. And Israel has piles of files in international courts that have really been dismissed over the years. And I fear that this kind of language will come back to haunt those people. The longer this conflict goes on, the more images emerge from the victims. And also, if the Palestinians are pushed out of the Gaza Strip, they will end up on European shores. And then I think they'll have to take a very different view on this.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Sultan. We really do appreciate your time and your insight into this. I just want to go back to the live pictures from Gaza now, where we are seeing absolutely a huge bombardment of the Gaza Strip this evening. As we have mentioned, 1,400 Palestinians have already been killed in Israeli airstrikes. Almost 350,000 have been displaced, and we imagine by the end of this evening there in Gaza that those numbers are going to rise, continue to rise as people try and take shelter from the constant bombardment from the Israeli Air Force.